Hello and welcome to Animals Labs. This is the fourth installment of our 5-part series looking at incarnates, their class types, early and late game builds. We're going to begin with an early game build. The reason I picked this one is because it's available right at the start in one of the campaign missions. I think it's the second campaign as a reward, where you can get a 3-piece all rare build, 3 stars, of a Titan that's actually pretty useful. So Rain, teleport to the highest space in front of you in your presence, then pull all enemies to you and attack them at equal to your defense. So if you have a way of setting up this, you can pull all of the enemies in, lock them close to you and attack them with your defense. It's pretty tasty. For 2 turns aura, at the end of your move, pull enemies spaces and burn them for 1 turn. You can already start to see what the Titan is doing, right? And then the last one, attack enemies and lower all of the spaces in your terrain by 1 and give them burn. So this guy is your tank. He's got quite high defense at level 60. You can see he's got one at pretty high defense. And he is going to basically tank your enemy. Pull them in, lock them up, control them, and then do a load of damage to them, which you can't really complain about. For the late game build, I have 2 potential options. I'm going to show you one that I use in my haul and one here. This is the one that I've gone for from pieces that you can build. This is a Barbican. Allies in your presence gain Brave and Regen. So they gain some HP and the ability to heal. Root is applied to the enemies as it's burned, which does damage over time. It also locks them in place and reduces their defense. It's pretty strong for an ability. When you have one of the big problems of the Titans is their move. As you can see, well, this one's got a move of 4, but some of them have got like really low moves, move of 3. They're not really going to get over the place, and this allows you to teleport to the edge of the battlefield, attack enemies and lower spaces in your path, and heal yourself. So you get a heal, you get a teleport to move around, increase mobility on a somewhat slow class. You can't really go wrong on. And then Rampart, which is hit someone 3 times. So not just once. We want to really put a hammer to their face. Let's just smash them in the ground. No buffs, no debuffs. Very simple, pure damage. Can't really complain. You could always use Pyroclasm if you wanted to do a bit more AoE cleanse damage. So it's a line which is your AoE of 1 plus your presence. So in this case, it's going to move 3 squares in front of you. Drop terrain by 2 and attack enemies and apply bleed and burn to them. So this is my late game Titan build that I use myself, and this is why it's in the other thing. It's got a judge piece on it, but I'll explain that in a minute. For 3 turns, gain aura 4. When enemies enter a space, lower their space by 1 and burn them for 1 turn. So this is this is just a burn and a piece. It's an aura 4 though, which leads into some of the Eternals and really helps this class out. The second piece, Bastion. We want to be a big beefy boy, so this has got one of the highest defenses adding on to it in the game. Gains Giant, which you gain Giant, which makes you bigger and tankier, increases your max HP and your range, which will lead into these other things. Whenever an ally is attacked, they gain regen, so they heal some damage at the start of their turn and counter attack. No, let's mean we're going to put the damage out there. Then I've taken Restitution from the Titan. I've taken Restitution from the Judge build because heal target enemy and heal all allies in the presence for 75% of your defense. He's a big tanky boy. We get some heals on them. Heals himself, remember, as well. But we do it to trigger some of the Eternals. Yeah, so we take this piece on them just so that we can apply flight risk. Whenever you activate an aura, apply root on enemies in presence. So remember that we are activating auras on both of these abilities. Okay, so we can pull people in with these abilities. So this is the first Eternal we want to add to this particular build. Eye of the Storm. Whenever you activate an aura, pull enemies in your presence 1 space. So remember that we have 2 particular auras that we're going to activate. One is Bastion. Whenever Giant which adds an aura of 4, and then Caldera, and this is one it really triggers off of. And whenever you enter a turn, whenever enemies enter their space, lower it and burn them. So when you activate this with Eye of the Storm, you pull them 1, which then triggers the burn and let the space lower. Now, when we add Flight Risk, remember that they're instantly rooted, so they're not going anywhere at all. So we then add the last piece of this particular puzzle, which is a piece that is legendary, so it's somewhat hard to get, but if you can, it just changes this build dynamically. It's 5 taunt, called Get Over Here. Taunt enemies you pull. So we're pulling them with our Get Over Here. We're setting up the regen with the aura, so we pull them in, we taunt them, and then they can't go ahead. And we can do, then next turn we put up another aura, we pull them in again, we taunt them, we root them. You know, it's such an awesome ability. I've seen a way that you can change by, if you want to go full Titan, and we can do, is we change restitution. Let's go and show you this particular piece in the forge. You could just add bore instead, which if we wanted to is lower the space in front of you by 2, attack enemies in range, and then pull them towards you. So you can pull all the enemies in close and taunt them every turn. The issue is you don't actually root them, so they can potentially run away, which is why I like adding the judge piece. But there we are. Thank you for watching. I'll ask that you like and subscribe. We're going on the next time to my personal favorite class, which is the Void Watchers. Until then, have a good day.